Welcome back to our 30-day exhibition series, and today we wanted to share a short video on content ideas that you can do on the stand. Now, I don't know about you, Killian, but when exhibitors go on a stand, it tends to be then 3 days or 4 days or whatever the duration of that exhibition is predominantly see us at the stand. We're here at the stand.
Yeah.
It might be a pre-made graphic, it might be something that they've gotten from the exhibition, but I just feel like we can take it a step further. You
can, and that's completely fine because that information is valuable. But if you pair it with these content ideas, I think you can really smash it out of the park. So let's run through them. What are you thinking?
Well,
what would you like to see from someone? What would make you excited to go see them?
I think from my point of view is, let's say for example, if I had a demo kit at the stand. So I know that we're doing a demo, and a thought that I had was, well, let's take the opportunity while I'm there to then make a video of that demo and then say, come see it at the stand, right? So if I was a ADAS company, for example, and I had that demo equipment up, I would definitely be taking the opportunity to do a video. There's a lot of gaps in an exhibition where you can find puddles of time that are quieter. Do it before, do it after, but take advantage of the fact that you've spent so much money on the stand.
That's what it boils down to. You spend so much money on the stand,
it looks great.
And people are nosy. They want to see these things. I definitely want to see more of Automechanika because you've been, I've never been before, but I want to see, I want to feel what the experience is like, and I don't think I've quite gotten a sense there, and it's unfortunate that I have to, well, it's not unfortunate, but I do have to show up and go all the way to see it. So invite people in. I find that with the 30-day exhibitions, a lot of people are doing teasers of this is going to be there, so let people invite that into the experience, because it's unlikely that everyone that follows you is going to come into this event. There's probably people in different countries that are invested in your company but just don't have the time to see it or can't come to the event. So one way to do that is to definitely film the teasers that you put out.
There's so many businesses that can't shut their shops down for that long. And it's a privilege to come to an exhibition. So I think for me, use what you've got going on at the stand as the show, you know. And I think a lot of this and a lot of the content ideas that we might come up with on the spot right now is the fact that you have a huge asset here and you're thinking of it on how I can create conversation one-to-one rather than how can I create conversation one-to-many. And I think that's just the reframe. Is you don't need a posh studio, you don't need, you know, all these lighting and stuff. People will understand the environment that you're in. So I think
just on that point is that this content not only shows we're here on the stand, you know, to get more people then and now, it also, you know, it's going to push your brand and your message beyond the exhibition and what by the time the door closes. So, but then what that nurtures is your next time that you come into Automechanika and just showing I'm definitely seeing those, because I think Tim Benson had a checklist of who he's going to see before he goes to the stand. So what that content will do for you is being oh, they had that last time, I wonder what they're going to do now. So it's just nurturing that. With any marketing funnel, we always preach that it should be a strategy and a full funnel to something else. There's got to be an intention behind it.
Well, somebody might also decide to come day 2 because they've seen what day 1 is. And if the content out is quite stale, then you're probably not going to get Just because day 1 has started doesn't mean you've lost the people that aren't there on day 1. I think my second idea would be to speak to people in the industry prior, see if you can get a question that is relevant to your audience and relevant to the pain point that you solve. Ask them that question and ask if they will come on the stand just to answer it. People in this industry are so nice and
they're up for it.
So up for collaboration.
To ask.
You really do just need to ask, and most people, you know, whether it's ADAS, whether it's diagnostics, whether it's training, whether it's what parts, a lot of the central issues to this are issues of the industry, and that is why a lot of people will advocate and want to be on board with answering such questions. What that also does is it allows you, as everybody is in one space, you don't get that ever. You know, everybody's come to one space. Take advantage, because also their audiences and this is also what you'd probably do, is make sure that the people that you're asking are relevant to your audience.
Yeah.
But that then goes out to their audience, which allows you to expand your reach for that time while everything's busy and while they are posting. They will also be super grateful to have that. I'd say on this topic as well, you might say, oh, well, I don't know how to use TikTok, or I don't know how to edit it, you know, if you wanted to get it off TikTok, or I don't know how to then, like, make it look good. I don't know, I did that voice. Yeah.
I own a garage.
But live stream, I'd say that is, like, that's the easiest way to do it. Just click live.
Anything, because with TikTok you do have to have like 1,000 followers, so maybe like TikTok or Facebook is a really good way to do it.
Just if you do it that way, then it means that there's less barrier to entry, and it excuses the scrappiness. Because a lot of people might say, oh well, you know, I need a really good camera and I need this. No, as we spoke to Ben and Vicky Coates, you don't need this one. You can get a £10 lav mic. You can get your phone. That camera there is better than, well, it's just as good as what we've got here.
I don't know what the lighting is. Just as good.
They're insane. So the fact that you can whip this out on your pocket, go live, and then your lav mic will connect. You know, you don't even need a tripod. Just your mate can be a tripod.
I'd personally advise a tripod, just put it in a corner of the
But point is that another mate on your stand could hold it. You don't have to get all crazy about it. And I think
as well to that is that a lot of live streams can save, so you can repurpose that into stuff. So if you're asking people on your stand, like I was going to mention, doing customer testimonials, if a customer comes on your stand or they've used your product or service previously, get them on. Be like, are you happy to have 5-10 minutes just to chat about this, and I'll record you. And then obviously if they're not comfortable for that, because not everyone's up for being a content creator, you can ask your sales guys, like, what did you guys just discuss then? Like, what was the pain point? And you can drag a lot of value from that, because one, it's showing you're on the feed, you're top of mind for the people, and people are engaged because, again, people are nosy, they want to know what's going on. And second, you're showing the knowledge of your staff and the knowledge of your team. And when people do have that problem, they can recognise, like, oh, I saw that piece of content. Like, I know these guys can solve that problem for me. That's who I'm going to go to.
There's almost 3 buckets of content you mentioned there.
There was a lot.
It was a twofer. So you had the client testimonial. So this might be, invite somebody onto your stand and say, would you mind doing that? And how do you incentivize that? Do you incentivize that with a gift voucher? Do you incentivize that with like some really cool giveaways that you're only doing for them? Do you incentivize it with a draw? How do you get that? What value do they get in exchange for shouting about you? Because, you know, as much as we have our advocates that will come on and say how amazing you are, a lot of them might need a bit of a push. The second one that you mentioned, well, that you didn't quite mention, but was, it might not be a customer, but it could be somebody that's come onto the stand and asked a question. And that question could be either relevant, either a tough question, but because your sales reps are so knowledgeable and they know what they're talking about, they then answer that. That is hugely valuable content. So if you could say, just 2 seconds, could you ask me that again? And then
record the interaction.
Record that interaction.
Right, because again, the content doesn't need to be polished, because you did mention, like, a lot of it can be excused because of the environment. Like, people understand the context of what's going on, what's being filmed. So instead of having like a polished, like pulling your sales team away from the question and being like, what did they just ask you? Like, film that. There can be a lot of stuttering involved, especially when you're not used to it. So the way to make this easy is document it on hand. Have your guys clipped up throughout the day, so that when you do go to film, like, it's already connected. You already have a good quality, and that's eliminated off the bat. And there's more flow then. You know, you can actually see them handling it in real time. It's just a case of what they naturally do on a daily basis, because you don't want to pull them from what they do. So when they're answering calls, they're just doing that in real time, and this is what that exhibition allows.
And that's what that third video is, isn't it? Is your sales reps and all the people on the stand, whoever you have there. And I think that what's so good about that is you could either do, what are the top 10 questions I was asked today? Or what were the top, midday check-in. You know, you could just do a midday check-in where you go live and they talk about 5 conversations that they had and why it was important. In the same way that we spoke about it with Phil Curry, which is, you know, he, from a journalist point of view, can create his 12-month content strategy from conversations. You guys can have an ongoing, real-time content strategy through answering all these questions, and then that can be used after.
Just now and then, like I know we're shouting like social market, but like this can genuinely be so beneficial for you to use later down the line. Like there's so many assets that can be drawn from that alone, but also having that documentation of like, how did I answer that, what was the transcript, what was the sales script I used, so that next time we can implement that. There's so many things you can extract from it. So if you aren't even planning to do it in real time and posting the social content because it's just too much on your plate on the day, think about recording it for yourself and what value that can actually do for internal users. Like document the whole journey, and then you can reflect back in a year or so and be like, what worked, what didn't, that was a great answer, and then you know, you can build that up from there.
So now we've done live demo. We've done experts coming onto your stand and speaking about a particular issue, and then we've done your sales reps and your customers talking about you. I think the other ways to kind of edge this into slightly more riskier territory might be if you have a game or a giveaway on the stand, wouldn't it be amazing if you had that camera just there that was showing people playing it, getting het up about the game, so there was some excitement around. Now obviously you'd have to tell people that they're being filmed and where it's going, but if they agree to that to play the game, then you set.
Be the same. That could interlap with a live stream and whatnot.
If you wanted to get super risky, I mean, I'd be having a GoPro here and just going about my day.
Straight on my
you
head.
know, it literally, just like I would take it that far. I think that maybe NEC won't be video content
with it just on the.
Yeah, he's so happy and it would be cool. So I think that there's loads of different ways that you can play with the in-person, because as you say, people are naturally nosy, and if I have a live stream, half the time
I'm just pop it in.
I mean, I watched somebody clean their house for 3 hours the other day.
Yeah.
Do you know? It's like,
I mean, also streaming's massive right now. There's no denying that. Like people are just engaged of what people. The whole thing about social media is that people want to live through other people. So back to your point about collaboration with other people on stand, document yourself or your team going round Automechanika, witnessing it for themselves in real time, going live comments, and then just post that. You know, like people want to see it. They want to, again, people that are missing out who are still in the industry and are following you, they will have some sort of interest in this type of thing. It's one of the biggest aftermarket events in the UK, so there will be an interest there already. You already have that to back the content. So it's not that it's like they don't have an invested interest in you. Most likely not. They have an invested interest into what you're up to, and that's how that's created. So create that hype around it. Be like, I'm just going round now and I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that, and because a lot of the stress with content, the reason why we've done this format today is because it's more natural, and we were like, oh, we have so many like conversations like this, let's just film it. And so it's more natural now. We have done a lot of polished videos, but we found that doesn't typically like suit. We'll do it, but it doesn't show us in the light that we like. So I think there's multiple options on how to create content, and documentation is one I'm really
documenting rather than polished production. And I think when you just said, you know, people going around Automechanika and kind of just living it, that can go into influencers as well. And, you know, there's been the topic of micro-influencers or influencers coming to your stand. For me personally, I think a micro-influencer would be best suited to this type of event, purely because you want a more narrow you want it niche, so that you know that, okay, this person tends to solve my customers' problems through their content, so I should go with that because it's a more engaged audience, rather than say some like old footballer or something.
But this is just on that, I know it's slightly off tangent, but if you are going to get a micro-influencer, the way to check what a lot of brands do to check if they're valuable in a way, because obviously micro-influencers, they can have their followers or like a lot of vanity metrics are in place here just so they can get better brand deals. But the way to narrow it down to see if they are valid in a way is to look at the comments, look at their likes, and see if they're genuine people liking, because a lot of these things are bought. So if you're going to invest your time and money into that, just make sure you're doing that research above, so you know that like it's not just you're seeing 170,000 followers, you're seeing good quality and genuine engagement from this, so that when you do use these micro-influencers, you're getting your bang for your buck, essentially. That was just a little step.
No, that's a very valuable tip, because I don't want people to be buying, you know, paying them to come and then...
And encourage that point if you don't get something.
Nothing's happening. So
ROI.
Yeah, so once you've done that and you've got your micro-influencer in, first off, I think a lot of people think, oh, they'll attract people to my stand. They will, but they have an online audience
That you can leverage.
During the day. You have them there. If you've paid for them to be there for the day, they're yours for the day. They're yours. So ask me all of these questions on your social so that then I can repost, right? Go round to Automechanika and do your little commentary, do you know? And then we can post it on ours to say that you're here and whatnot. Then also have maybe them in the networking events, speaking to specific people.
Yeah, so show the panels as well. That's a really good one. Like even like live stream the panels, because look, it brings traffic to your stand. But again, like there's a lot of like panels going on at the time that I know I'm going to be on the stand, because there's not a lot of people manning our stand, so I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to get away or escape the stand. There's a lot of things I may miss. I would love to see like a panel or rewatch it, or just something that I missed, just to know what's going on.
That's it.
Because there is so much going on the day, and that's the great thing about it, but also like the opportunity to film so much.
And the way that we'd look at that in terms of marketing is that is your broader audience that allows you to bring in interest that not all may be relevant, but it brings in more people that allows you to then funnel it down to what they're interested in. Yeah. So that's a good way of bringing in people that you know are adjacent because they're coming to the exhibition, or they're interested in the exhibition, and then from there you can funnel it down with the content that we've just outlined. So like the case studies, the questions, the sales reps.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're looking to film at Automechanika in 2025, how about you get a free promotional video done for you? If you are a B2B aftermarket supplier, then we will be coming to you with that offering for Automechanika UK 2025, where you can have one of 3 different templates and a professional video edited for you during the event.